my scheduled live chat like a proper YouTube person. Yay! No crying this week, I'm afraid. Hurrah! Hello, hi Simon. So I hope that you're all doing well. It's been a heck of a week, especially here in the UK, with announcements to changes to the lockdown, which have been a little bit, some might say a little bit vague and difficult to understand, which I think is particularly tricky for those of us on the autistic spectrum. So I wanted to talk, sorry, excuse me, it just has to be done. I wanted to talk a little bit about those changes, about how those changes have made me feel. Hi Beth, as an autistic person, so that it might be helpful for you guys. And I also want to talk about some of the ways that I have decided to cope with the proposed changes to the lockdown, so that that might be helpful for you guys too. I'm a little bit confused because I'm on a new phone and I'm not sure where the camera is. If I'm looking in this direction, am I looking at you? What about that direction? I don't know. Anyway, so I'm just going to hope that I hope that I'm looking at the camera, and if I'm just looking to the side of the screen, you'll just have to bear with me. So as many of you here will know, last Sunday, Boris made an announcement on TV which left us, many of us, feeling like we didn't really know what was going on, what the changes were, or in fact, why on earth he went on television to make no sense and tell us nothing. And then the following day, on Monday, we received a 50-page document laying out the proposed changes to the lockdown as of today, Wednesday. So I actually went and read the entire 50-page document, which I think probably not a lot of people did, but I was feeling really anxious and really confused by everything that had been said by him, particularly where it affects us here in the Purple House. So I have children, and I have got a child who's in year 6, and the proposal is that he could potentially go back to school on the 1st of June. Yeah, right. And then there was also talk about changes to being able to go out and meet people, potentially meeting one person at a time outside. And a whole bunch of other changes, including the kind of return to work for people in the construction industry. And Mr. Purple is an electrician, so he and his employees are in the construction industry. So it was a whole bunch of stuff. And as I talked about last week, some of you might remember, hearing about changes to the lockdown is almost more anxiety provoking for me than actually the lockdown itself. So, well, yeah, quite, Gary. How can you tell small children to practice social distancing? And more importantly, it feels a little bit like these changes are happening as if the epidemic is coming under control, but the numbers that we're seeing don't really feel like an epidemic under control. And the more cynical amongst us might feel that Boris Johnson's motivation might be more economical based than kind of looking at the country's health and protecting people. Hi, Simon Lott from the Lottie bus. Like it. So anyway, I have written some notes on what I think about the new lockdown rules and how I'm actually coping with them. So one of my concerns was that I am a vulnerable person, but I am not an extremely clinically vulnerable person, and therefore I'm not on the shielding list, and therefore I'm not officially shielding, I guess, basically. And with the thought that some people are going to be able to go out and meet people, and people going back to school and people going back to work, it feels like going outside might potentially become more dangerous for me. So in the 50-page document, I found out that there are three categories of vulnerable people. The first and most obvious is the clinically extremely vulnerable people, and they're the people with things like cancer, organ transplants, who are on immunosuppressant drugs, and those there's a full list if you have a Google, and they are officially shielding for 12 weeks. Which means that they can't have any contact with anyone, from what I understand of it, including even people in their own homes. So it's very, very clear cut, if extremely challenging, for that group. And then the next group are those who are clinically vulnerable, and those are people who have got things like asthma, diabetes, immunoconditions, and in fact the conditions that I have are classed in that. People who would be offered the flu jab annually, and I am in that category. And the advice for us is that we should continue to stay at home as much as possible and to minimize contact with people outside the house. So I wanted even more clarity on that because I wanted to know, what does minimize mean specifically? So I went and had a look at the dictionary definition of the word minimize, and the word minimize is defined as avoiding as much as possible to the bare minimum, even not at all. So basically, my interpretation of that is that if you're in the clinically vulnerable category, it is still okay to go outside for exercise, but I would still be avoiding meeting people. So I would say that those of us in the clinically vulnerable category should not be meeting one person from a 2-meter distance. And then the third category down are those who are vulnerable but not clinically vulnerable. And in that category are autistic people and people with learning difficulties and people with mental health problems. People who are vulnerable to the current situation, but not physically or clinically vulnerable to the consequences of coronavirus. And many of you will be in that category. And I know that it says that the government are looking at ways to support us as well. I won't hold my breath on that, but that is what it says in the 50-page document. So, having been really confused by Boris, I decided to make my own little list of rules based on what we have been told. And what we have been told by Boris is that we should not go outside more than is necessary. We can go outside now for sports as well as exercise and to sit outside, which is good news for disabled people who might previously have not been able to go outside because they can't exercise. Those people will now be able to go and sit outside in a park whilst maintaining social distancing. We are allowed to go shopping as we were previously. People who can't work from home are allowed to return to work if their workplace has been made safe. And that is the first stage that we're in. And then further along, there will be more stages, but I'm not going to get into that because I think it's all very if and when and maybe. So I'm not going to worry past the first stage, the set of rules that we've been given now. So my first bit of advice for those of you who are finding changes to lockdown incredibly stressful would be to make your own list of rules. I said this when lockdown first happened, so if you already did that, then all you need to do is update your list of rules. And if it would be helpful for you, I will actually put in the community tab my list of rules as I understand them from what we've been given from Boris, if that would help you with like a more clear-cut kind of guidance, purple Ella guidance, if you will. The other thing that I would say is really important in terms of the stress around this issue is to try to control what you can control and try not to worry about the rest. So essentially, we can't control the decisions that our government makes. We can't control the decisions that the rest of the population makes. We can't control the decisions of people who are doing street party dances all together last weekend. We can't control any of those things, but we can control our own behaviour. And if you think that the guidance that we've been given by the government isn't safe or appropriate for you, you can control what you decide to do. So you can control what you eat. You can control your environment. You can control what you watch on television. There are many, many things that you can control to get that like sense of safety and control in the world. And then if you can let go of the rest of the things that are completely out of our control, I think that's a really helpful thing to do. And then my final tip is, as always, kind of self-care based. You know, going back to maybe some of these changes to lockdown will return us to a bit of a mental kind of state that we felt in when we first started lockdown, that uncertainty about what we're supposed to be doing next. And during that time, I think lockdown is, during that time, I think self-care is extra important because by self-care, I don't mean the whole neurotypical view of what self-care looks like, sitting in a bubble bath with like aromatherapy candles and whale music. To me, that is not self-care, that is torture. By self-care, I mean doing your Lego model, doing your artwork, doing your video games, whatever it is that you do that gives you headspace and escape from the current situation is extra important at this time. So if you're feeling particularly anxious, then make time each day to partake in whatever it is that takes you away from the world. And as well as scheduling in time to have that kind of escape. If it all becomes too overwhelming in any given moment, it's okay to take time to have that escape as well. Staying busy as much as you possibly can. So my 3 tips for coping with the current situation that we're in are to make yourself a new list of the new rules, to control what you can and don't try to control all the rest, and to make sure that you practice self-care and engage in the things that make you happy and comfortable every day. So I hope that's helpful. Has anyone got any questions before I get into my usual live stream stuff? I have a question because I think I saw some chat in there about Katie doing a Corona drinking game. Are you doing that right now, Katie? If so, should I say coronavirus a lot of times?
No,
Clarity. Let me say clarity. No. Oh, darn it. But if you have any questions, now is the time to ask them before I get into my regular live stream stuff. It is so anxiety provoking, particularly for many of us who don't necessarily trust the government advice, who don't necessarily trust, I'm not getting into politics or who voted for who or who likes our Prime Minister or not. I don't want to get into that. But it can be hard to trust a central authority like the government to be making all of the decisions about our safety, and that can be really, really difficult. So Beth asks, she's really interested in trying Lego to keep busy. Where should she start? I started with Lego by buying a particular set and making that set. I think that can be a really good starting point if there's something that you really like. Another way to get into it would be to buy a good box of mixed bricks. I would say probably if you've got the money, buy a small set and a box of mixed bricks to make whatever you like with. And then there are some really great books, Lego Ideas books, that you can get that give you, so I'm just laughing at Tony, start at the bottom and work up. Love it. There are some really good Lego Ideas books that give you ideas, shockingly enough, where you can get kind of inspiration. But even if you don't buy Lego Ideas books, the Mixed Bricks box usually come with about 6 or 7 things you can build in there. And then if you go onto the Lego website and you type in the Mixed Bricks box that you've got, gosh, that's a tongue twister, then they also have even more ideas that you can build with that box. So yeah, that's how I would get started with Lego. And yay, Lego is awesome. I would also make sure that you have somewhere to display your precious Lego models, because half of the enjoyment that I get from Lego is from the models once they're made just existing and being in my universe. You're welcome, Beth. Were there any more questions, Dave?
Well, at the very beginning, somebody called Superbay asked if you'd seen something called Crip Camp on Netflix. I'm not sure if that was spelled.
It's not really a question though, is it?
Yes.
No, I haven't seen that. What is that? I don't know what that is. Does anyone else know what that is? I haven't seen that. No, I have not. No. So shall I move on? Moving along to my usual live stream things. Masks. Yeah, masks. Somebody asked about masks, did they? I didn't see that. Masks can be really challenging for those of us on the autistic spectrum because sensory issues galore. Am I right? I've been wearing masks since lockdown started, whenever I leave the house, actually, because I just want to be as cautious as I possibly can. So I've got some quite cute masks that look nice, which kind of helps me. I would say that one of the advantages to wearing masks that I have discovered inadvertently is not having to make facial expressions all the time when you're out and about. So when I first started wearing a mask, I kept finding myself doing the smiling at strangers and pulling expressions that it doesn't come naturally to me, but I do, I guess it's masking. But now I've reached the point where I've realised that I don't actually have to do that. So I'm just walking around feeling way more chilled because I haven't got to make all these big facial expressions. So yeah, I noticed that Catherine was using the badger. Did you guys see the badger that I designed for the purple people, the badger emoji? It's really cute. I'm really pleased. We made that because most of the people in the purple people at the moment are Hufflepuff when they do the Harry Potter sorter. So we decided we needed a badger as part of that. And don't forget that if you sign up to the purple people, you too can use my awesome emojis. Oh, I have news as well before I move on. Do you remember a few weeks ago I was talking about stickers, about making stickers? Does anyone remember that? Or should I start from the beginning? I should start from the beginning. So basically, I had decided that one of the things I'd like to bring out, because people who do YouTube often have like t-shirts and things like that that you can buy, and I didn't really want to make t-shirts because t-shirts, in order to make t-shirts for YouTube, I've looked into it and I would have to charge, most people charge about £30 for a t-shirt, and I strongly object to the idea of spending £30 on a t-shirt, to be honest with you. I think that is like a rip-off and I don't want to rip you off. So I decided that a cheaper and more fun thing to do would be to make stickers. So since then, I have made a little bit of progress. I have designed 2 out of 3 of my stickers, which I can show you if enough people are interested today. And I have found a lovely independent sticker printer who can print these stickers for me. And I have looked into Etsy. So my plan is that I will open an Etsy store. Hey, thanks, Beth. You love stickers. I love stickers too. That's a super chat. Super chats are cool. Do super chats. We like those. I have designed 2 out of 3 of the stickers that I'm going to make, and I'm going to sell on Etsy at a reasonable price. I'm basically going to make barely any profit off these stickers, so it's not a profit-making exercise. It's a I love stickers, you love stickers, who doesn't want stickers exercise. And the exciting news is that if you are already in or you join the Purple People Club, I will send you a free sticker of your choice of the 3 stickers that I have designed, just because that's like nice, isn't it? So if you're already in the Purple People, when they're printed, I will get your addresses and send you a sticker. Yay! So do you want to see the stickers? If 3 people say they'd like to see the stickers now, then I will show you them. If you don't, then you'll have to wait and see. Hey, happy sloth, happy rainbow sloth. That's my rainbow sloth that I did design. Yes, that's 1, that's 2. Yay, 3 people. So the stickers that I have designed so far, I hope you like them. If you don't, just lie to me. I'm okay with that. Okay. So the first sticker that I have designed is Coco! It's Coco! It's Coco as a sticker! Yay! She looks what?
She just woke up.
Coco just heard me say her name and just woke up. So that is my first sticker that I've designed. And the next sticker that I've designed is a neurodiverse universe. The neurodiverse universe, which I'm really pleased with, because I actually designed that Earth with brain on it quite a long time ago, and I've been waiting for a good use for it. And the final sticker I'm going to design is going to be my little purple Ella girl. Hey, thanks, Mel. Oh, from the US. Super chats from the US. Anyway, so those are my stickers. They will be about £2 each on Etsy within 3 or 4 weeks. I'll let you know when I launch that. Okay, moving on. Would you like to see the Lego model, or would you like me to get into book, film and movie of the week? Or would you like me to tell you about Coco's amazing prowess that she did do yesterday? I've lost the ability to speak. Oh yes, I have. Do you like my plaits? Oh, you can't even see my Totoro. This is my isolation creation. Coco. So Coco has become a bit of a star of the house. Anyone who's weirded out by rats might not want to listen to this story, but it has a happy ending. Thanks, Beth. I'll tell you about Katsu in a minute. She's fine though, but I'll tell you about that. Coco, we have had a rat that has been visiting our garden, and I don't like rats very much, and lots of us have seen him at various different, not a happy ending for the rat, sorry Simon. Lots of us have seen him, this rat, at various different points while we've been in the garden, and I didn't like it, so Mr. Purple was kind of hoping I hadn't seen that it was a repeat visitor, because I'd only seen it once. Anyway, we've all seen it at various times, and yesterday, and the whole of last week, Coco's been going mental, because she's obviously seen the rat too, and she's been like looking for it. So yesterday we were all sat having our lunch looking out onto the garden, because our dining table looks out onto the garden, and we saw the rat like saunter across to the bird feeder like, hey, I'm just gonna have some food because I'm so casual, because I'm a rat and I can do what I like. And we spotted it straight away. So Mr. Purple went full-blown one man and his dog and took Coco outside, and Coco caught the rat like a wild beast. If anyone's seen Coco, or in fact the Coco sticker, you'll know that she basically looks like a teddy bear. She caught the rat, shook the rat like a crazy thing, killed the rat. Well, virtually killed the rat. Mr. Purple had to finish it off, but you don't need to know about that. Killed the rat, and yeah, gets 10 out of 10 for bravery. So the whole of yesterday, we were all just like, Coco, you're so brave, you're so amazing. Mr. Purple was like, I mean, I helped. We were like, yeah, but Coco. So yeah, Coco is basking in her glory as the rat catcher extraordinaire of the Purple household right now. And Katsu, some of you might have seen over the weekend. Yeah, 10 out of 10 for Mr. Purple. See, don't encourage him. Don't encourage him. Katsu, some of you might have seen over the weekend, if you follow me on Twitter, had a little bit of a nighttime illness thing going on. I don't know. Katsu's quite old. She's about 9, we think, but she's a rescue, so we're not entirely sure. I mean, those of you who like rats, don't get me wrong. I'm sure domesticated rats are lovely pets, and I wouldn't get Coco to kill your pet rat. I really, really wouldn't. But the rat that lives in my garden, it's got to go. I'm sorry. Those of you, I mean, I'm a vegetarian. I'm an animal lover, but this rat, I will not ever kill your pet rat, Marie, I promise. But this rat was not a pet rat. It was a rat that needed to go, and go it did. So please don't unsubscribe because of the rat story. Let me move on to the cat story. So the cat had a nighttime, basically woke us up in the night, kind of collapsed on the landing, meowing in a way that I'm not used to. And I rang the vets, the emergency vets, and the vet said to take her in. And when she got there, she had low blood pressure and just generally didn't look generally didn't look well. So they decided to keep her overnight and take some blood tests and let us know. And because I'm a catastrophizer, whenever one of my animals is unwell, I kind of end up going to the worst case scenario and deciding that this might be their moment. And because Katsu's not the youngest cat in the world, I was really stressed and really worried. Oh, thanks, Constance. Really worried and upset all morning. And then we got the call at midday that Katsu was okay, and in fact all the blood tests were clear. On clinical exam she was well and she was ready to come home, and she's been home ever since, and she's seems to be perfectly well. She's had lots of cuddles and fuss from all of us. We're all very happy to have her back. And the relief that I felt when the vets rang and said that she was better was amazing. It was almost like it wasn't worth having it happen, but it was almost worth having it happen of how good I felt once we knew that she was okay. So I've spoken to my regular vets this morning, and they're gonna give me a ring and make sure we've kind of ticked all boxes in terms of making sure Katsu is okay. But get this, she was at the vets from 3 o'clock in the morning on Saturday morning till 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday afternoon, and she had some blood tests. Any guesses? I open up the bids to how much you imagine that this might have cost at the emergency vets, because I was, I have to say, quite shocked by how much it has cost Katsu's overnight stay at the vets. And while I move on to that, let me start telling you things. I'm going to tell you more things. 600, 500, 100, 200, 300. No, in fact, people, this was 750, 800 pounds. 800 pounds. I mean, I could stay in like a posh hotel and have a nice meal out for 800 pounds. 800 pounds. Like, I am in the wrong business. I mean, don't get me wrong, sorry, that sounded bad. Vets are brilliant. I love vets. Thank you very much for even still working right now, vets. But 800 pounds? I mean, what? So yeah, I do love my animals. I do, but they are not cheap. They are really not cheap. So yeah, ouch indeed. Yeah, crazy. Indeed. Completely crazy. So I have a bunch of stuff. Let's start with my isolation. This week's isolation creations. Yes, Luna, I do have pet insurance, thankfully, but I had to pay it, and now I've got to wait until a claim goes through to get the money back. Have you sent the claim form off? Sorry, I'm just randomly chattering about claim forms. Anyway, so isolation creations this week. Before we start, I have to tell you that disappointingly, we don't, oh, you're in purple, yay. We don't have any bad cooking this week from Mark. Mark sent me a picture that I'm not going to share with you because it was not really an isolation creation, because he's been busy painting his garden fence rather than baking for our amusement. So no Mark this week. But what we do have is, I have from Beth. I'm not sure if it's regular Beth, who is here and is a purple person, or I don't know whether it's you. Is it you? Did you send this? But someone called Beth sent me this lovely, I think it looks kind of planetary, this lovely picture that I think is really interesting. Was it you? Yay! I love it, Beth. I think it's really interesting. I've never seen anything like that before. I really like it. Thank you for sending that to me. And then Catherine Enger made some really cool soap that looks like citrus fruit. I really like that. I might actually be tempted. Does anyone else ever tasted cosmetics that look like they might taste nice? Because I have. And I think I might end up doing that if that was somebody gave that to me. I'm saving my favourite one till last. So I've got 4 and this is number 3. And then Rob is a friend of mine who I've met through Twitter and was in a video. If you look at my videos and you find the video on digestive issues, Rob was in fact in that video. And he has sent me this mandala that he made. I don't know how he made it. It looks computer generated, but I do like it's mandala, probably. I do like his mandala. I think it's really pretty. And then finally, I think this is amazing. So you guys probably know that I really love Animal Crossing, and currently, well, my Animal Crossing tells me that I've spent over 70 hours playing it and I've only had it about a month, so I guess I'm playing it quite a lot. And Kaylee has made, those of you who know Animal Crossing will know, and Isabel, who is the person who manages the camp in many of the Animal Crossing games, she's sent me a crochet Isabel picture. I mean, I wish she'd sent me a real crochet Isabel because it is awesome, but she has sent me the picture of Isabel that she crocheted. Isn't that cool? So I wonder whether she's going to crochet a variety of Animal Crossing animals, and it almost makes me want to get into crochet, apart from the fact that whenever I have tried anything to do with woolen needles of any variety, it has made me cry, so I probably shouldn't go there. Right. The animals, everyone looking at the animals behind. Can I remind you guys, I've been learning from Sam about YouTube, analytics, no, algorithms. Algorithms are a thing, and apparently if you click the like button on my stream or on any videos that you watch, it means that YouTube goes, oh, this is a good video, we'll show it to more people. So if you fancy clicking the like button, I would appreciate that. Because I'm trying to be proper. I'm even watching creator channel videos on how to do better YouTube. I will be proper. Anyway, my Lego model for the week is, I love Guardians of the Galaxy. Who doesn't love Guardians of the Galaxy, am I right? It's the Guardians of the Galaxy ship. And it has on it, I want to say Morgana. Is that Morgana? And Star-Lord. And I can't remember what this guy's name is. This is terrible. I call myself a Marvel fan, and I can't remember any of their names. I'm just not good at remembering things, really. So, and it comes with a scary alien creature that moves. Ooh, this is like a kids channel. I could be one of those kids channels. Oh, ooh. So I really like this. I've had this model for a few years and I'm really glad that I got it. And I got this model when I went to London to film. Some of you might have seen, it doesn't have Groot. No, there's no Groot. Some of you might have seen, I was involved in a training module that the National Autistic Society made about diagnosing women and girls a couple of years ago. And when I went up there to film for that, I went to the Lego store in Trafalgar Square and I bought this model. So it's kind of got fond memories because that was the first professional autism speaking thing that I did. I think it was probably about 3 years ago now. So yeah, it reminds me of that. Thanks, Simon. I knew you'd be there to help me out. So Gormara and Drax. Yes. Terrible. Terrible. Right. Moving on. Has anyone got any questions before I move on to the next thing? Think of your questions whilst I'm telling you the next thing. So, book of the week is Saturdays at Noon by Rachel Marks. And you guys will be interested in this one. It is about a family that have a child with PDA. PDA is pathological demand avoidance, and it is a type of autism. And this book is about, it's a fiction book about a family who are struggling because they have a child who has PDA, but they don't know that he's got PDA because he's been to be assessed for autism, and they've said he doesn't have autism because it's not a typical presentation of autism. And the story of what happens to them. So that is Saturdays at Noon by Rachel Marks, and I'm really enjoying that. I'm not quite finished, but I'm only a chapter off, so I thought that was fine for recommending, right? My film of the week is, I need a sip. I need a drink because it's live stream and I can be more casual on a live stream, right? I haven't got to be quite as proper. I have got bubble tea again. It's going to become like a Wednesday tradition. Okay, my film of the week, it is bubble tea. It is mango bubble tea with lychee popping bubbles, because my favourite bubble tea place in Bristol, Cup, and they're not sponsoring me, gosh, I wish they were, has opened again. Yay. So my film of the week is The Cat Returns, which is a Studio Ghibli film. Some of you might remember I told you about Totoro right at the start of these live stream lockdowns. Do you know that this is live stream lockdown number 8? 8. I've done 8 of these. Mental. So, The Cat Returns is a Studio Ghibli film. Studio Ghibli are a Japanese animation company, a little bit like Disney, I guess, but with more morals and ethics. And their films are absolutely beautiful films, and I really love them, and they make me feel warm and cozy and relaxed. And I saw The Cat Returns about a month before lockdown started, and it's just lovely. It's about a girl who gets transported to the land of the cats, and it is extremely weird and strange in every way, but also really beautiful. It's only about an hour and a half long, so you haven't got to focus for too long, and it's currently on Netflix. So those of you who've got Netflix, The Cat Returns is on Netflix, and I would highly recommend it. My TV show of the week, yes, Gary, is The A Word. So I wasn't sure whether to recommend this because The A Word is not perfect. No programme that has been made with an autistic character is going to please everyone, and there's always a lot of kind of outrage when an autistic character is created for television, because people will always say, that's not my child, that's not my experience. But I really like The A Word. I think it's gotten better. I didn't love the first season, but we're on the 3rd season now, I think, and from the 2nd season onwards, I've really enjoyed it. I really like the character that Christopher Eccleston plays, the grandfather. I don't generally like Christopher Eccleston because I didn't love his Doctor Who. Controversial, I know. But I really love the character that he plays. I really identify with the child in The A Word, the kind of anxieties that he has. And then we've also got the older autistic character and other characters with differences in there. It's a great family drama. It's like they've not tried to make it entirely about autism. It's a family drama in which there are some autistic people, which I really enjoy. Yeah, another TV show that I like with an autistic character that not everybody loves is The Good Doctor, and I do understand that a lot of people feel like often autistic characters on television are male. They have a high intellect. They're kind of that geeky, stereotypical autistic character of a man who is really into maths. But I do really enjoy The Good Doctor and the character that's been created there as well. So yeah, yes, Beth, I could in fact put up my TV and film choices each week if that would be something you would like. So just to repeat that, book of the week is Saturdays at Noon by Rachel Marks. Film is The Cat Returns on Netflix, and TV is The A Word, which is currently on the BBC iPlayer, and we're on season 3, but all 3 seasons are on the iPlayer right now. So yes, that's my bit of being a Blue Peter presenter out of the way for the week. Does anybody have any questions for me about anything, really? Anything that you fancy? Yeah?
Catherine asks, how do you manage transitions during the day? Maybe from going from work to relaxing?
Yes, that's a good question, Catherine. Catherine asks, how do I manage transitions during the day? I have been working on managing transitions, my schedule and my kind of workload for years now, and I really feel like I've hit a rhythm where it's really working well for me. And I think that the way that I do that is by having a series of mini routines that take me through the day. So I have my morning routine, which has clear tasks within it, and then I have a chunk of the day where I'm doing, in my case at the moment, schoolwork with the children. Then I have a meal, and then I work on Purple Ella and all the work involved with that in the afternoon. Then I have dinner, and then it's chill time. So they're really clearly defined sections of the day. So, and the same thing happens every day, apart from at the weekends when I have clearly defined weekend mini routines. And I think having those mini routines means that I know what to expect next, even if what to expect next is a meal or a break or the next mini routine. I think that's really, really helpful. I think the problem with transitions can be when the transition is an uncertain one, like you're not entirely confident or sure of what is going to happen next, what that's going to involve. You know, so say for example, you were going to have lunch and then you were going to transition into doing some decorating of your house, then that feels quite intimidating and that transition would feel quite tricky. Whereas if you were going to transition into gathering the things I need for decorating, preparing the space, and like a series of yay, another I feel like a performing monkey, but I do genuinely find it that exciting. Thanks, Angela. I love it. Where are all the pictures? Didn't the Super Chat used to have pictures? I like the pictures. Pictures are good. So yeah, if you're transitioning rather than from one task into another task, you're transitioning from a smaller, more manageable chunk of a task into a smaller, more manageable and clearly defined chunk of the next task. For me, that feels more manageable. Is that helpful at all? I think the mini routines and knowing what's happening in my day has meant that I've been able to be so much more productive. And I think that actually being in lockdown has given me a really good chance to practice those transitions and those routines without the like constant interruption and uncertainty. Hey, oh, thanks, Lucille from New York. I've gone international. Is that international? What does international mean? I don't know, but I think I've gone. Yes, thank you. So yeah, without having the kind of things that go wrong and change the plan and etc. of regular life, I've been able to really work on those. And then another thing I saw being talked about on Twitter last week that I thought was really a useful way of breaking things down was hard demands and soft demands. So this is someone that I follow on Twitter called Jamie and Lion, and he's an autistic guy on Twitter, and I'd recommend that you follow him because he talks a lot about ways to structure the day as an autistic person and ways to cope with your anxieties and your energy levels. And he was talking about hard demands and soft demands. So soft demands are things that you would like to get done but don't have to be done, and hard demands are things that you have to do, like scheduled contracted jobs or eating or getting dressed, potentially, maybe not at the moment. Can you make that stop, please? Sorry, I think my child's phone is ringing.
No, it's not.
Is it not?
A text message.
Okay, could you put it on silent? Sorry. Real life invaded my live stream. Yes, so I really like that idea because I realised when I read about this hard demands and soft demands plan that I've basically made everything in my life a hard demand. When it's not, everything in my life isn't a hard demand. So is this making any sense to anyone? Shall I carry on? I will anyway. So actually, if I start to think about probably 70% of what I do is a soft demand. Like, yes, it's great that I do this live stream, but you guys would probably cope if I had to have a week off because I was tired, right? So that's actually a soft demand. Whereas a job that I've got a contract for on a particular day that I've got to go and do a speaking job is a hard demand. So if I start to break down my daily tasks into hard demands and soft demands, I think that's going to make it easier for me to be a little bit more flexible when I need a rest. Not that I've ever needed to take a live stream off, actually, because I really enjoy this, but in general, I think that might be helpful. Have we had any more questions while I've been waffling?
Beth's asking any tips about housework. She doesn't know what to do or she does everything.
Housework, yeah, yes, definitely. I don't do housework because of my physical disabilities, but I am the coordinator of housework, if you will. And I used to do housework. So the thing that I used to do was the same thing. I had to basically clean the whole house or not at all. It's like, I think it's hard to do half a job. So what I did was I broke down my housework into clearly defined tasks. So that would look like clean the kitchen, clean the bathroom, hoover downstairs, hoover upstairs, dusting, change the bedding. You get the idea. And I wrote down that list of tasks, and that way I had a clearly defined list of tasks that I could just do one of. And because I can't rely on my energy or my state of mind on any given day, I didn't do anything all like super organized, like assign a particular task to a particular day, because that would just feel like too much of a demand, and I'm not good with demands and I get scared. So instead, what we're currently doing is we've got a housework chart that has those jobs listed. We would aim to have each of those jobs done about once a fortnight. So when one of those jobs has been done by someone else in the house, admittedly not me, they would write the date of when it's next due to be done a fortnight later. And we're not hard and fast on that. If it's a fortnight and a half, if it's 3 weeks later, that's okay. But it's like a really good way. And then you just pick one task off the list and you do that task. It's like a half an hour task, and that's it. I hope that's helpful. Is that helpful? I don't know. Hopefully.
Gary's asking, have you Zoom chatted any of your friends?
Have I Zoom chatted any of my friends? Yes. When I first, probably like many of us, when we first went into lockdown, it felt like I was on Zoom every single day. And it got a little bit overwhelming, and I got a little bit fatigued by it, and I started to feel like I wasn't enjoying it at all. So I took a little bit of a back step from it. And now I have 2 like regular online social things that I do every week. On a Tuesday, I do a weekly art challenge with Roz, who many of you will recognise from our videos, and a mutual friend of ours. And we have a different challenge. And I think I talked about this last week. And this week it was we sent each other squiggles and then made art out of those squiggles. And if any of you would like to see that, do raise your hand now, because I'll show you my weird, very, very weird squiggle creation that I made if you would like me to. But I don't want to force my art on you, because I'll just be sat here for half an hour like, hey, and I made this and then I drew that. And then also on a Saturday, it's going to be on Zoom this week, but it has been on Facebook. A friend of ours is doing a quiz, and we're taking part in that quiz. And the exciting news from this week is that we actually won last weekend, Mr. Purple and I. We won, which means that we get to choose a category for next weekend. And we have chosen, Mr. Purple doesn't realise this, but I got asked whilst on a dog walk, we have chosen the category of Great British Birds. Right, yeah, so enough of you have asked that I'm going to show you.
Great British birds or Great British birds?
Just British birds.
Okay.
Just British birds. So the squiggle got turned into the Squiggle Cat Monster, which was obviously a little bit inspired, because it was the day of the rat yesterday, by my rat story. Do you like it? I think it's the weirdest thing ever. And then Mr. Purple was like, oh, you could turn that into a sticker. I'm really not sure anybody wants that on there. Well, the other thing with the stickers as well is they're going to be vinyl stickers, which means that you'll be able to put them on like water bottles or laptops or things like that, and they won't get like trashed when you wash them. And the Purple Ella one is going to be sparkly holographic vinyl. I mean, what is better than sparkly holographic vinyl? So if you are already in the Purple People, you can look forward to one of those. You can have one of the sparkly holographic vinyl ones if you want to too. The art reminds you of Nightmare Before Christmas. I mean, I thought you were just going to say a nightmare, to be honest, Katie, and that would be fair enough. Yeah, so yeah, the art thing has been a really good thing. And then also at the weekend, I always Zoom chat or video chat of some way my mum, because she's out in Cyprus on her own at the moment. And that's about it, really, because I'm quite busy, really, because I've been working really hard, you guys might have noticed, with the Purple People and the stickers and trying to build this channel and working, and it was a compliment. No, I did get that. It would have amused me if you'd just gone, that just looks like a nightmare, because I did think it was a bit strange. Yeah, have we got any more questions?
And then Beth's asking how you feel so comfortable on the screen. She's tried Zoom and found it so hard.
Well, I guess I'm kind of at a bit of an advantage with the old video chatting, although I do find it is probably quite amusing for the people that I'm video chatting with, because I do kind of go into live stream mode. I'm like, hey, what have you been up to? Oh, it's not all about me. You'd like to say, you can speak too. Okay, brilliant. That's great. Which is quite amusing. But I think that because I've been doing this now, I actually realised that I will have been talking about autism on the internet for 4 years in July. So this is just something I'm really comfortable with. And even before I started doing this, I was a performer. So I've always enjoyed, I guess, being in front of people. My dream job would be to be a singer. And I am actually going to be recording some singing for my church's worship band this weekend, so I can pretend I'm like a proper singer then. So I'm looking forward to that. And I can actually give you guys a link to that as well, and you can hear me singing if you fancy at the weekend. Yeah, hello.
How is Roz?
How is Roz? Yeah, Roz is doing really well. She's really well, yeah. She's doing really well. She's having ups and downs just like the rest of us. But overall, she's coping really well. It's difficult at the moment because she's in the second year of her OT Masters at Newcastle University at the moment. So she's trying to write reports and projects in the middle of this situation, and I think she's finding that a little bit stressful. But she's in regular contact with me. We have regular messenger chats where we're just like, we send each other gifts. If we can't handle talking, Roz and I, we just send each other gifts that convey the meaning. Yes, yeah, Katie is, that's what I've always said, Katie is like my original kind of viewer. Yeah, it's really nice that you're still here, Katie. I love that. And I think at some point in there, you actually asked me not to get too professional. And I think you can see 4 years later that is unlikely to happen. So, yeah, I hope that's reassuring. Yeah, right, I've been here for a really long time, so I'm going to wrap it up and go drink my bubble tea and spend some time with Coco. I have got some things to tell you before I go, though, because I'm being all proper, as I said. I'm not sure, does it count? Are you being all proper when you say you're being all proper? Probably not, probably not. So, tonight, if you would like to, you can have a double dose of me today. Because last week is pre-recorded. Last week I recorded with the National Autistic Society. They are doing coronavirus spectrum lives over on their Facebook page. So that's the National Autistic Society Facebook page. And last week I am on the panel for one about access to food, supermarkets and all that kind of like restricted diets and all that kind of stuff with, the coronavirus happening. So that's at 7:30 tonight on the Facebook page of the National Autistic Society. And I will be in the chat because I want to watch it because I'm in it and I've not seen it yet. So that's that. On Friday, the video that is coming out is about interabled romantic relationships. So relationships where one of you is autistic or disabled and the other one isn't. So I actually asked Mr. Purple for consultation on that. So I've gotten his perspective. I think it's a great video. I really hope you guys are going to enjoy it. Don't forget about the Purple People. It's on my list of things to remind you. Join the Purple People. We only need a few more people to join and I can make some more emojis and everybody wants that, am I right? And finally, if you can like this stream and subscribe to this channel and tell all your friends to do the same, that would be brilliant. Thank you very much for watching today. I will be back, as well as all that stuff, I will be back next Wednesday for the usual live. Don't forget to send me your isolation creations. You can start right now, ella@purpleella.com, and I will see you next week. Thanks for being here. Love to you all. Have a good day.